Hi everyone. Namaste. Namaste, namaste. Let me clean my camera. How's everyone? Welcome to this 111 channeling this morning. I'm joining you from Eastern Time here in Florida. I hope that you guys enjoyed last week's channeling. It was a big surprise to me, everything that came through. And today we're in for a real treat because we're just going to let spirit flow through the session today and just allow spirit to move through me today and through you, because we're all in this together collectively. First things first, I just want to share that the purpose of these channelings is for you to have the understanding that you also have the power within you to give yourself your own answers. You also have that intuitive voice. I don't want to make myself special or for you to think that you don't have this ability, because we all have the ability to listen to spirit. We all have the ability to follow our intuition and to listen. So the purpose of these sessions that I'm doing here, live channelings, is to really serve as testimony that we can go inside for our answers and that the power to heal is inside of us. And I feel that collectively, as I channel spirit, it can bring you some comfort or confidence in your own voice. So first things first is I want to just share that if you are new to channeling, or it's something that you have been doing for a while, awesome. Either way, it's really, really good to have a channeling journal. So a journal that you have and you ask questions and you receive information is really, really helpful to pump up the volume in the voice of the Holy Spirit. So the Course of Miracles calls the voice of love, the voice of that connects us to God, the Holy Spirit voice. And then it also talks about the egoic thought system and the egoic voice, which is the voice of fear. So the whole point also of these sessions, welcome everyone. Say hi as you come into the chat. I can see the chat there. So just welcome everyone. So the voice of the ego is the voice of fear, and the voice of the Holy Spirit is the voice of love. So the whole point of these lives is to bring in the voice of love, to bring in the voice of the Holy Spirit, and it comes through. And sometimes I'm going to close my eyes, sometimes I'm going to open my eyes. Again, this is very new for me. I have been doing channelings. Hi, kitty, kitty. I have been doing lives for not lives. I've been doing lives for a while, but I haven't done live channeling. I've done channeling for my husband. I've done channeling for my one-on-one sessions. I actually help others channel in my sessions. So yeah, the whole point here is to just start to gain confidence in the Holy Spirit voice, in the voice of love, and just to know that I am nothing special. I feel that everyone has this power to listen to the voice of love. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm feeling that today I'm going to ask Spirit what we need to address, or what would be most helpful to address, what topic to address collectively, and then receive the inspiration from Spirit, the insights from Spirit. Again, this is very spontaneous. I'm not sure what's going to come through. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be able to follow the guidance and the prompt to begin to do these. Okay. So again, namaste. Welcome, everyone. Let's go ahead. I'm going to close my eyes, ask Spirit, what topic or what theme is it most helpful now to address collectively in this moment? Okay, so I received automatically really quickly the release of suffering. So we are going to address the release of suffering, and is, if I'm sure you guys can relate to that, is the ongoing chatter of suffering, and the collective suffering that goes on in the world as individuals and as collectively. Okay. Um, so it appears that we're going to be addressing the suffering today. um Spirit has a message of inspiration. Spirit has a message of how to release suffering, which is awesome. So I could go back and forth, so I could receive instruction, and I can also go back and forth and come back to Maria. So as you can see, so um That's awesome. Thank you, Spirit. Release of suffering. Great. So today, and also Spirit will guide us on how to release that suffering. All right, I love that. So suffering is something that is really overwhelming the form base. So suffering is something that's very overwhelming collectively in bodies as forms. Suffering is very on the surface and very evident, and it seems like it's a powerful force, and people have fallen asleep in this space. So there's some of you that live in the suffering every day, and then there's some that it's unconscious, so it's like underneath, and then later on it gets revealed, and then that's why certain things happen. But collectively, what I'm feeling or what's being guided right now to address is the suffering collectively, and everyday suffering. So it seems that, and what's coming up also is the Course in Miracles, because the Course in Miracles talks about there's no little or small problems. They're all the same: fears, 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 fears. So what I'm receiving also is that regardless of what the form of suffering looks like, it could be big, it could be small, it wants to address it in general. It's like it doesn't matter. Anything that's taking away your peace is a form of suffering. So anything that is on your mind, anything that's even taking your little piece a little bit, or it could be taking away your peace a lot, it wants to be addressed. It wants to be addressed that all suffering is suffering, doesn't matter how big, how small. Let's attend to that today. Let's attend to that. Let's share in this healing. The time has come for all of us to heal collectively. The time has come to suffer less, to really suffer less. The time has come for you to recognize who you are in truth. And even if it's for a second that you release that suffering, let's say for a moment, you're something within you that clicks, that you remember your father, that you remember the love you are, that is sufficient. That is sufficient. Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps. That is sufficient. Even if it's just a moment, it is sufficient. It's really, really, really helping. It's creating, it's like effects everywhere, even if it's for a moment that you remember your true self. And that really helps in release of suffering. Guys, I've never heard that before. And I've never read that in a book. So I'm really excited about this message. So even if for a moment, you're able to remember your father, for a moment, you're able to have that miracle, or you're able to get disengaged from the suffering, you are helping yourself, you're helping others. Just that moment, something is being released. You see it as a little thing sometimes when you feel at peace, but it's in the world form, it's not a little thing. It really, really, really helps to reduce suffering collectively in form in yourself. Okay. Wow, it's intense. Okay, thank you guys for trusting me. This is really emotional for me. It's something I don't know how to express, like what comes through. It's really intense. All right. So coming back to the suffering spirit again, it's the how you release suffering. So how do you release suffering, dear ones? How do we release the suffering at a very deep level? It's a simple fact. I mean, and it's so simply said, but it's just really the understanding that it isn't true. It's an imposter sort of thing, like material thing. It feels like it's like, and it's actually you. So it's the suffering part of you that you feel is very tangible, that is very real. But it's not. It's you. The understanding that you are not that suffering is very, 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 very important in the release of the suffering. So the more that you can begin to understand that it's not you, then you begin to understand that you're not it, and whatever thoughts come up to make that it real it begins to dissipate when you understand, when you start to wake up, when you start to become more conscious, the fear starts to dissipate. Now, dear one, how do you become more conscious? Yes, Spirit, how do we become more conscious? How do we become more conscious? We become more conscious by beginning to get really honest about what we're thinking and believing, to get really, really honest about our thoughts, to begin to understand that it's a farce, that just because you think something, dear one, just because you feel something, just because you have a thought, not necessarily is it true, dear one. It doesn't mean it's true. Catch it. Gotcha. Stop that. Just really catch your thoughts. Become aware. Release of suffering comes from awareness, from consciousness. Begin to become conscious in me, as me. Begin to observe. Begin to laugh at yourself. Begin to just understand that this is all a bunch of, Maria, you say it very well. All right, Spirit, it is a bunch of caca, right? It is a bunch of caca. Make it light, dear ones. Make life light. Make the whole shebang of the world light. The more that you disengage, the more that you make it real, the more that you make it so tangible, the less you will suffer. Suffering is unnecessary, dear ones. Suffering is unnecessary. Suffering is unnecessary. Suffering is unnecessary, although if you're suffering, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong here. It's part of your vortex of reality. It's all good. Regardless of the suffering, regardless of the fear, you will never lose your inheritance. You will never lose who you are in truth. You will never be replaced, even by fear. So the call here for the suffering is to let go of these veils of illusion. It's like these drapes that you've caused on put on yourself, but mainly on your eyes. You're not really seeing. It's just all this stuff you can't really see. So the real big prayer here, and I'll answer you, is, Spirit, help me to see what I am not willing to see. Again, guys, Spirit, let me see what I am not willing to see. Let me be open to what I can appreciate because I'm so in my judgment. Release of judgment to release suffering, release of judgment, release of judgment. Understand that everything is neutral. Put neutrality on everything. See everything with holy eyes. See everything with Christ's eyes. The time has come collectively, brothers and sisters, dear ones. Something comes up in your vortex and you're suffering, release the judgment, bring the neutrality. Disengage from what you're thinking and believing. Next problem, disengage. Awareness, consciousness, non-judgment, non-personalizing. It's not about you, dear ones. It's not about you. It's never about you. When you're being attacked, the problem is you make it about you. But it's never, ever, ever about you. You cannot be touched. You are a child of God. You are perfect perfection in spirit, as spirit, forever and ever and ever, throughout all eternity. Non-judgment, not personalizing, being in the present moment. Letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go, allowing consciousness in. When you're conscious, you begin to walk, so you seem like a human traits, but there's a subtle spirit, a subtle presence of where you're able to understand you are not this body, dear one. You're not this body. So when you're walking, there's reverence, there's a knowing. And you're able to make decisions with me. Hold my hand. I am here. Ask for guidance. Course in Miracles. What can I say? What can I do? Where can I be? How? Show me, Spirit. Dear ones, As much as you suffered, as much as it appears that you suffered, as much as it feels that you're suffering right now and you continue to suffer, it's all good. You're not bad. You're perfect. You're God's perfection. You're not your past. You're not your future. In this moment, you are that light. In this moment, we are that light. We are that light always, coming into light, coming into light, coming into light. The unnecessary chatter sometimes, the suffering, everything blocks our innocence. Finally, dear ones, you are innocent. Tap into that innocence so you can let go of more suffering. Give yourself a break. Your innocence is upheld in the heavens. Your innocence is put on the pedestal. You are perfection, and God sees you as perfect. Doesn't make this world real for you. How would a loving God create or believe or believe this world for you? Not possible. God is holding you in high regard on a pedestal, gives us free will. That's how much trust and love, the knowing that his children are waking up, but powerfully enough, already awake. No doubts in God's mind about his children. So, dear ones, in summary, practicality. Maria likes to teach a lot with practicality. Yes, I do, Spirit. Thank you. Practicality. Help Maria. Okay, I'll help. So, in summary, thank you, Spirit. What I received is that to help to let go of suffering is let go of judgments, presence, awareness. Anything else I'm forgetting here? Yes, dear one, presence, awareness, not personalizing, stopping in the moment, understanding of your thoughts, understanding they're not real, and ultimately innocence, understanding who you are in God as God. Okay? Listen to this video again. Listen to this live again. You can write notes. That could be helpful as well. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for this connection. And I will be here next Thursday for another 111 Eastern time here in Naples, Florida. And if you feel that this moved you, share it with your friends, and let people know. Let's let people know the truth. But again, they don't need to know because they already know. Just us being here, we've allowed other minds to remember their truth. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for this message, for what came through. Grateful for myself, for trusting, for showing up here, even though I don't know what the heck is going on or what I'm doing. All good. All good. Namaste.